Who are you?
Can't you see it already? I am you. Everyone at their destination. All that's needed now is a push.
Before the video starts, I wanted to thank you all because we hit 1,000 subscribers, guys. Building a community this fast and active has been one of the best surprises I could have had this year. How well the last video performed made me extremely happy, and I promise I'm going to keep creating more and more. Thank you, guys. Hey, what's up? Guys, for those who don't know, many characters in ReZero represent frightening threats to the world, like, I don't know, the Witch Cult or the Assassin's Guild, or some of Wallachhia's divine generals. However, when you realize that, literally, one of the weakest people in the story can also destroy the world, things change quite a bit. In short, the idea behind this video is to see which version of Subaru is most dangerous to the world of ReZero. I know many will say, the Pride one is more dangerous because he set Lugnica on fire, or I don't know, the Gluttony one who killed a lot of people too. But guys, I don't know if you noticed the thumbnail, but I made a point of putting a version of Subaru that practically no one knows. And it's obvious that I'm going to comment on him in this video, right? The little guy is very intense. And to make this video even more interesting, I used the threat levels from the anime One Punch Man, being divided into 5 categories: the wolf level, the tiger level, the demon level, the dragon level, and the god level. I think this metric is cool because, like, the bigger the monster in the category, the more dangerous it is. So, like, I don't know, the wolf, you can see that it's less dangerous than the tiger. The tiger is less dangerous than the demon. Anime logic. But you got the point. Let's go. Each Subaru may or may not represent a level of threat to the world, depending on his firepower or his influence. And that's what we're going to see today. Speaking a little about the levels, guys, the first level, which is the wolf level, represents a minimal danger. That is, a danger that, if it could, would only threaten one person or a small group of people. Other than that, it would already be another level of threat. The second level is the tiger level. It represents a danger to a vast number of people, something like a village or a small city. The third level, guys, is the demon level, which represents the danger to an entire city, and it can threaten thousands of people, even millions of people. The penultimate level is the dragon level, and it represents a gigantic scale threat that puts several cities or even countries at risk at the same time. And the maximum danger level is the god level, which represents something that, in some way, is capable of destroying all life in the world of ReZero. Then many will say, Baru, but Subaru doesn't have destructive power. Yes, that's true. He really doesn't. However, what makes him so feared, in my opinion, is both his intellect and his ability to influence people. Both in the main route and in the alternative routes, he made several choices, guys, and some of them ended up generating devastating consequences for the world, whether for better or worse. A good example of this, right, is Subaru manipulating Cecilus and Hallibel in the Wrath route and simply causing hundreds of thousands of deaths indirectly. See, you don't necessarily need to be strong to end the world. You can simply manipulate someone to do it, and Subaru knows how to do that very well. But alright, let's go. Starting the list with the most peaceful version of Subaru possible, the Subaru of the Vainglory Route. I thought very hard about not putting this alternative route in the video because, like, it's very weird, guys. The story is so strange from a reader's point of view that everything seems fake. It doesn't make much sense. But since I'm taking all the alternative stories into consideration, including the main one, I put this one here too, right? And guys, Subaru in this route is simply a student. He doesn't pose any threat to the world of ReZero, especially since it seems like he's not even there. But right, he will present he's a threat when he gets out of the Matrix, right? Following the list, we have the Subaru of the Rem IF, the Sloth Route, and by far it is also one of the most peaceful versions of the work, despite having caused some problems, right, before he followed this route. But guys, I would say he went from a wolf threat to harmless, because he basically lives a happy life alongside his wife. He simply became a father, man. So seriously, the guy doesn't want trouble with anyone, man. A happy man doesn't want trouble with anyone. The next on the list, in my opinion, is the Subaru of the Greed Route. Guys, in my opinion, this version is by far the most mentally broken. However, it would not pose a danger to anyone in the world of ReZero, and I'll explain why. The big problem in this route is that Subaru lived hundreds of thousands of years in the same day, basically, because he repeated and repeated the same actions several times, just to have a perfect future, even in the smallest details. The thing is that the Subaru of this route doesn't have the potential to be a threat to the world, because he basically does everything for the benefit of his friends. His real goal is just to help Emilia be queen, wake up Rem, and help Beatrice. That's all he cares about. The rest, oh, who cares? The guy won't care, because, like, he doesn't even care about Echidna herself, guys. It's as if he had already given up on everything in the world and only lived for these 3 people. Guys, do you have any idea? He even broke Echidna's neck in the Castle of Dreams out of pure stress. And even so, he continues to follow the same perfect path to save Rem, Beatrice, and Emilia. The world no longer means anything to him. Therefore, he would not put anyone's life at risk other than his own. So practically, his threat level is 0. Talking now about Mimago Route, ugh man. Just remembering this route, I remember what crap it was. This route was very lame, guys. Very lame indeed. Especially because it's the same story as the main route, only the gender is swapped. Instead of being a woman, it's a man. Instead of being a man, it's a woman. That's it. The story follows the same roll of the dice, the same thing. The Subaru in this route would be considered a wolf threat because, despite not being very useful, she was capable of fighting against one person or even a group, depending on the motivation. So at least a wolf she was. Following the list, we have the Agano If, the Vengeance Route. And it might sound crazy, guys, but surprisingly, the Subaru of this route is not inherently very dangerous to the world like that, especially since his only targets are members of the witch cult, who are precisely the people who cause problems in the world. I would say that even though he is one of the strongest versions of Subaru currently, his threat level is at most wolf, because he only puts his life at risk and backs down. And even if we took his targets, who are cultists, into account, it would still be something small scale anyway. After all, in this route, he does everything alone for years. And guys, now I'm going to generate a little controversy because after all, the Subaru of the main route is above the Subaru of the Vengeance Route in terms of threat. But calm down, there are some very good reasons for this. The first is that, unlike the Agano If guys, the Subaru of the main route in the Arc 7 and 8 is almost considered a potential terrorist. He is also seen in a way as a spy and an extraordinary strategist. If what Subaru does, guys, and his power of influence, which he has with people, is taken seriously, it is very likely that many countries fear his influence and fear him too. That's why this can even lead to a war, directly or indirectly, between nations. Guys, this version, I wouldn't even say a demon threat, but the danger he represents in the main route is, at minimum, is Tiger, taking into account his possible targets or not. And now it will be even more controversial. After all, for me, the Subaru of the Lust route represents a greater danger to the world of ReZero than all the previous ones. And the reason is the simple fact, guys, that he is an idiot with the powers of a king. And I don't really know, guys, how far Subaru's actions would go in this route, but he commands an entire kingdom, thousands of soldiers ready to obey any order of his. And not to mention Reinhard, right guys, who is a weapon of war. The guy can simply order Reinhard to blow up any country he wants. After all, the guy is the king, so he can do that. This route is basically you giving a remote control capable of dropping an atomic bomb on the world, but the one operating it is a child. This is the level of danger of Subaru in this route, and I don't know, Reinhard would obey an absurd order from Subaru without thinking, right? But who knows, the guy is the king, right? So he can do whatever he wants, even have 7 different wives at the same time. Yeah guys, let's enter my favorite route now, the Gluttony Route. In this route, Subaru ends up losing all his memories after a very enigmatic event in Arc 6. And since he becomes so disturbed from dying so much, guys, he doesn't understand anything and ends up being easily influenced by the assassin Meili, who ends up making him accept the idea of killing everyone to get his memories back. And well, when a person died there in the Pleiades Watchtower, guys, it generated a book, and this book contained their memories. And Subaru would go there, grab the book, and read it, and he would better understand who he really was. So basically, he went after everyone who knew him to kill them and read their book. It was basically the following: you messed up, you became a book. Guys, considering that he was the hero of Pristella in the previous arc, the number of deaths he caused along with Shaula just to absorb his memories is in the thousands. After all, right? Towards the end of the Gluttony Route, he opens the floodgates of Pristella and drowns everyone. Imagine how many books he had to read. Subaru's danger level in this route is at minimum demon, because the biggest problem here, guys, is that if the person knows Subaru even minimally, they are marked with a target on their back, because he would eventually try to kill that person regardless of who it is. And yes, regardless of who it is, because even cultists like Sirius and Capella and even Reinhard are his targets, so he would try to kill everyone he knows. You thought this route was a joke, didn't you, man? Holy crap, what a cool route. The next on the list, guys, is a route that many people like, the Pride Route. In this route, Subaru goes completely nuts and decides to become a villain. He causes the death of thousands of people and even sets the entire kingdom of Lugnica on fire, just so Emilia can become queen. The threat level of this Subaru is also at minimum demon. After all, he practically faced the entire world just for Emilia to be his queen. He took out the witch cult, took out the archbishops, and took out the royal candidates too, just for Emilia to be the superhero of the whole world, defeating the villain, which was him. The guy is a total simp. Guys, now talking about one of the most dangerous versions of Subaru, the Subaru of the Wrath Route. Guys, just so you know, the Subaru of this route was confirmed to be responsible for more than 100,000 deaths in the entire world of ReZero. He was not only an enigmatic figure to everyone, but he was also a much feared mafia boss. Not only were people afraid of Subaru, but kingdoms were too. A freaking nation was afraid of Subaru. In just 2 years, Subaru was able to create a criminal organization so efficient and so bloody that it even overshadowed the witch cult. The number of assassinations that were orchestrated by Subaru, guys, is off the charts. This made him the #1 target in the entire world. Even the Reinhard law was broken for Reinhard to go there and beat up Subaru, because otherwise the whole world was going to succumb to the king of purification. Subaru's danger level in this this route is Dragon after all. He put several kingdoms at risk at the same time. Everyone was shitting themselves in fear of him, man. And now finally we arrive at the Subaru of the thumbnail, an enigmatic being called Alcor. Guys, I'm gonna say right away that this version of Subaru is so underground, but so underground that almost no one knows about it. I myself had barely heard of Alcor. And look, I'm a ReZero rat, man. I watch a lot of ReZero stuff, and this version was created in the game Lost in Memories, just like the Subaru of the Vengeance Route, right? Guys, the origin of this Subaru was a mystery for a long time in the game. After all, he was a villain of the game. But unlike the alternative routes that you are used to seeing here on the channel, this version of Subaru is not Subaru in reality. In fact, he is a clone of him. A clone of Subaru created from his own memories. Then you might say, but how did they manage to clone Subaru? Well guys, unfortunately the amount of information about this route is very scarce, for two reasons. First, few people managed to play this game because it was exclusive to Japan, and second, unfortunately, the game was shut down in 2023. There are no more servers for this game, so we can no longer play and properly understand this route. But I will try my best here to at least explain something logical about this story, because, seriously, I found it very interesting. To start guys, we first have to understand who this dear girl is. Her name is Cheyenne, and she is a half-elf like Emilia. Cheyenne had a traumatic past there with her family, and apparently she had the power to steal memories and create ghosts. And these ghosts had a life of their own. Don't ask me how. Cheyenne, guys, apparently was the only person capable of creating ghosts, and it was like a very ancient and very rare ability that was lost over time. When she was young, Cheyenne ended up being kidnapped, and in desperation she created Lyra, who is a ghost based on Cheyenne's imagination. Lyra, guys, was able to save Cheyenne from the kidnapping and even stole a body there, and took on a majestic half-elf form too. Sometime later, it is said that after some interactions with Subaru, Lyra also ended up creating a ghost, and this ghost was called Alcor. Guys, unlike Subaru, Alcor is a person completely without emotions and very systematic. But the biggest problem is the following, guys. Alcor also has a return by death. That is, he is also virtually immortal. In the game, guys, he didn't actually die, but it was revealed that he was just a clone of Subaru, who became totally evil. Wow, what a surprise, right? He wears a very stylish outfit and wears a mask, so no one recognizes him, right? Obviously. Then you must be thinking, man, how is this Subaru more dangerous than all the previous ones, if he's a clone? Well guys, the biggest problem here is the following. Apparently, this version of Subaru is the only one capable of having a kind of authority awakening, right? Of return by death. And like, I say awakening because it's like a very absurd buff to his ability. And this buff to return by death is much more problematic because like, he is capable of rewinding his own timeline in his favor. In the original Subaru, he just returns. In this one, he dies and he rewrites the timeline the way he wants. I don't know, a guy died there, okay? Only he returns, the other one doesn't, you know? Like, he chooses who will return and who won't. It's kind of broken. He ends up rewriting the events in his favor and ends up manipulating the variables of the butterfly effect, which is like cause and effect, right? He basically manipulates the game's data, so like he's cheating. And besides that, guys, this even ends up working in realms where time doesn't exist. But still, even though he has this power to bring back whoever he wants regardless of the condition of death, that wouldn't put him first on the list, right guys? Of course not. The truth is this, whenever he manipulates the butterfly effect too much in the world, the next timeline suffers so much to rebalance the mess Alcor made that thousands of random people end up dying. And he can even cause the destruction of cities and even countries in a totally random way. In other words, all the guy has to do is decide to move a needle and, I don't know, the crazy prince there in Gusteco has a heart attack and dies, you know? Or, I don't know, a city simply explodes and kills a lot of people. That's simply what happens. It's like Minerva's authority. She heals someone, some crap happens somewhere in the world. Then Subaru goes there, manipulates someone, or brings back someone who shouldn't have. Boom, a city also exploded. If he abuses this too much and he does it a lot in the game, a lot of people actually died in the world of ReZero and he doesn't even know it. But still, besides that, Alcor would also face off against the Subaru of Revenge Route. He is extremely skilled in hand-to-hand combat and has an intelligence that is, at minimum, genius. Guys, I actually think Alcor would defeat the Subaru of the Vengeance Route because he has visions of the future. Like, this ability of his is so broken, man, because like, he can also see a deja vu of what is gonna happen before it happens. Even if he hasn't lived through it yet, he can also do that. So like, in combat, he is very strong. So I don't know, he's god level of calamity at minimum, because the guy can really destroy everyone and will never die. And therefore, for me, he became the most dangerous Subaru of all time. And you guys, what did you think of this video? Leave it in the comments. I want to know your opinion. And even if everything goes wrong, you can always start from zero again.